Good afternoon, everybody. I don't know if we are on yet. I know there's a delay from Zoom to Facebook, but welcome to the Actor's Tools for Calming the Mind. My name is David Lozano, and I'm the Executive Artistic Director of Academy of Theater. I'm also setting up my phone so I can look at some of the comments today. I felt that this was an important class to continue today. This is a course that allows us to engage in a process of healing that allows us to center. Many of you are doing a lot of different things. I'm working at home. I'm sheltering in. I'm keeping in touch with everything that is going on, watching the news, reading the news, connecting with friends. And this is a period of agitation. And when we're involved with human rights and justice for human beings, and we're in a period of an engagement of fighting for justice, it becomes a period of agitation. And if you are like me, it comes with anxiety, a sense of hurriedness, a breakdown of habits, and also a breakdown of healthy habits. And I'm offering this class because it's an opportunity and an invitation to return to ourselves for a moment, to return to thinking about our health. Self-care, you could say. So I want to invite everyone that's here watching to allow yourselves, if you choose, to focus on centering, replenishing our energy, providing respite. Because when we engage with injustice, it causes trauma. But we have a strong body, we have a strong constitution, that if we know how to work with our body, we can sustain it. But like we've heard from the medical workers who were going through overwhelming situations in the hospitals early on during the pandemic, they were saying they can't sustain that. And in the speed of the struggle for social justice, it's important for us to take a step back and breathe. So I'm trying to look at the link and I'm having trouble. Give me a moment, please. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, I think I'm on it. No. I can't tell. I'm sorry. I'm technologically illiterate. Let me see if I can connect again. Oh, maybe that's what it is. I'm so sorry, everybody. I just want to be able to connect with everybody today. Um, and I want to be able to um, have a discussion if you are available for it. But importantly, also go through the techniques of calming the mind. And I just want to get to the link so I can see any comments. I'm just not allowed to see this for some reason on my phone. Okay, so okay, I can see comments. So I just want to say that this is an opportunity to reconnect with ourselves. It's an opportunity for us to replenish our energies, clear our mind, and of course, get back to work, get back to our families, but also continue to engage with the world outside. Academia Theater has been offering programs for the integrate healing and the arts for the past 2.5 months. And these programs are an opportunity for us to truly find what is wonderful about being in our bodies, about having these the potential for a clear mind and having the capacity for emotion. And one part of this practice that we often don't talk about when we do engage in meditation or yoga, but it's very important to mention now. And what I'm about to say comes with asking the question, why can't all people have the opportunity to experience peace? Because people's fundamental needs are not being met. When people are able to fulfill their fundamental basic human needs, they will have the space in order to truly allow themselves to work on themselves like we are able to. So I recognize this scenario, and this is engaged with our work at Academia Theater. That our work is part of working with diverse people throughout Dallas and the country, engaging with all kinds of people within the community, community leaders, people from social service organizations tied to our plays. And during the pandemic, we've understood the need to address basic human needs, basic human rights. And so here we are today. And it's a moment for us to allow ourselves to center so that we can continue our work. And for us to continue the work every day, it's important for us to be able to take care of ourselves. So we're going to begin, and I think this is an important question that I would like for you to engage in. And the first thing that we begin when we work through this process of the actor's tools of calming the mind is that I'm going to ask you to share your bhava. And bhava is how you feel in this moment. I'm going to share my bhava. I feel heavy. I feel emotions on the cusp of my of my being, of my face. I feel blessed to be sitting here and privileged to be talking to you. That is my bhava. And I invite anyone out there to share how they feel on these comments, to share their bhava. So I'm going to try to look at this, look at the comments again today so I can see. I'm having trouble today with with technology. I'm going to try again. Okay, here I am. Okay. So if you are interested, please share your bava. The next step with this process is we're going to make the transition from where we came from to this present moment. So I invite you to acknowledge where you were, what you were doing, what you were thinking and feeling, and let that go and make the transition to where you are right now, seated. Good. Usually at this time, I take a deep breath, and I was taking a deep breath, and I was going through a lot of emotions in my early words and during my bhava. But at this moment, whenever you feel the impulse to take a deep breath, it allows you to breathe in any tension and then breathe it out. Good. So once you've made the transition from where you came from to the present moment, I'm going to invite you to bring your attention to your body. Observe your butt, your bottom that is touching the seat. Observe the soles of your feet on the floor. And there was the impulse I had to breathe in any tension and release it. And as I was bringing my attention to my body, I was able to identify that. And again, from the simple act of guiding our attention to ourselves, we begin to notice these things in our bodies, and our impulses compel us to do things like take a deep breath and breathe it in and breathe it out. So as our bottom is on the seat, our feet are touching the floor. We can see how our upper body lifts itself up. So as their weight falls through our bottom on the seat, our torso is nice and tall. Naturally, it lifts itself. Now, some of you or some of us may have some different kinds of postures, but this is an opportunity actually to just gently uplift the torso. Now I'm going to ask you to bring your attention to the soles of your feet that make contact with the floor. Observe the skeleton of your feet in your mind's eye, and observe the skeleton of your feet. And then bring your attention to the fibula, the kneecap, the femur, the pelvis, the spine, the vertebrae of your spine stacked up one on top of the other, nice and neatly, to allow yourself to be nice and upright. Your vertebrae stacked up one on top of the other through the neck and through the skull. Again, I had the impulse to take a nice deep breath because I sensed tension. I didn't even think about it rationally. I recognized it. And in my body, I breathed in the tension and breathed it out. And do that periodically to release tension. So now that we have this long spine, envision it long and tall through the neck and skull like a coat rack. And I want you to imagine that your muscles are like wet coats on a coat rack, and that they fall and release tension like wet coats on a coat rack. You exert just enough strength, and it's so minimal on this tall spine to keep it upright as your muscles just fall and releasing tension. Again, there's the periodic breath that I have the impulse to take. I don't do it prescriptively. I feel the impulse as I'm naturally breathing. And there's a constriction in my breath, and my body is doing the thinking for me. It wants to breathe in the tension and breathe it out to create more breath capacity and release tension. There it is again. The intelligence of the body. So allow yourself to scan from the top of your head to the forehead, the sides of your head, your nose, your sinuses, your jaw, your neck, your vocal cords, your shoulders, chest, diaphragm, upper back, midsection of your back, lower back, waist, pelvic area, thighs, knees, releasing all tension. Again, muscles like wet coats on a coat rack, which is your upright spine. In the crown of your head, face, sinuses, jaw, vocal cord. And again, the scanning may compel you to take a deeper breath to further release tension down through the chest, the stomach, the waist, the lower back, pelvic area, thighs, knees, calves, ankles, and feet. Good. So this is what I call the essential framework of this level 1 of awareness. We're going to come back to this, which is the upright skeleton and spine, and the muscles that are wet, like falling like wet coats on a coat rack, free of tension. Often we're carrying and holding tension in different parts of our bodies, but now is an opportunity to release it. And if you feel tension, I invite you to breathe it in. If you feel it in a part of your body, I invite you to breathe it in. Breathe it out. But we're sustaining the structure. Okay, and as we move forward, and really, I think this is our practice in our lives, which is why I feel that these actors' techniques are applicable to living and living in times of crisis. Because the skeletal structure is a support. The capacity to guide our minds to release tension is a skill. And no matter what we go through in our lives, we can count on a structural support of our skeleton. And we are cultivating the mental capacity to release the tension. And I'm like every human. My mind can begin to race, and it feels uncontrollable. It begins to foment all kinds of emotions and tensions. And I can either learn to guide my mind, develop the practice of relaxing my muscles on this nice upright structure of my skeleton and spine. I can learn how to do these things as a practice so that I can find peace and centeredness. Because yes, once I leave this practice, I will be going into different things in my life. Work may be stressful. Our relationships may be stressful. Our concern about the world may be stressful. But this practice of observing the skeleton, the structure of the skeleton that can always hold us up, if it is intact and healthy, the skeleton as a structure can hold us up. Our mind can guide us to relax our muscles. And I believe we can live through anything. So I want to recognize the skeleton, upright skeleton, the muscles that fall like wet coats on a coat rack. I'm going to ask you to observe your emotions, whatever they may be. And it may be the first time in days or weeks that you have allowed your emotions to truly be. I don't want to prescribe that either. I just want you to acknowledge your emotions, whatever they are. When I did this earlier today, honestly, I wept. But this skeletal structure and these free muscles and this clear mind allow me to choose to not collapse. Sometimes we will be overcome by emotion and we may collapse. But for us to move through each day, it's important for us to sustain ourselves. Skeleton, clear mind, guiding our bodies to be relaxed. So as I ask you to observe your emotions, you may be experiencing all kinds of emotions. You can experience them all. And this skeleton will sustain you. If you're struggling with them, you can breathe them in and breathe them out and release tension in your body with the exhale. And you can allow the emotions to flow. Good. So now I'm going to ask you we're going to go through this checklist again, this solid structure of the skeleton that sustains us through everything. With our mind lucidly guiding our attention. We guide our attention to choose to relax our muscles from the crown of our head all the way through our face, neck, chest, upper back, stomach, lower backs, waist, pelvis, thighs, knees, ankles, feet. We check in with our emotions, whatever they are. If there's tension, you can breathe them in and breathe them out. If there's laughter, you can allow the laughter to take place. If there's grief, release the physical tension. Allow the grief to be there. And without tension, allowing your skeleton to sustain itself in this position. Now I'm going to ask you to let go of any thoughts of the past, any thoughts of the future, or any preoccupations of the present. Then I'm going to ask you to observe your breath, this natural cycle of breath. As you breathe in, you breathe out. Breathe in. And I'm not pushing my breath. My breath is simply naturally cycling as I'm indicating with my hand. Observe your breath. We have the impulse to breathe in tension, breathe it out. And so in another time on your own, you may want to simply sit, observe your natural cycle of breath. And if any thoughts begin to come through your mind, you can just let them go and bring your attention back to your breath. If you feel a strong emotion, you can allow yourself to sit with that emotion for a moment and gently move away from it and bring your attention back to yourself. Good. So we're going to stop here. We could keep going, but I feel that it's important for us to close, I think, at this moment, because I feel that today this practice has a different context for us. And I believe that this practice is built for the various moments in our lives, such as moments of crisis. And so what this does, these actors' tools allow us to understand the strength of and ease of keeping this upright skeleton, which is the structure that holds us up, and the clear mind that allows us to guide our attention through our body, to release tension, to acknowledge our emotions, because if our emotions may be locked up with all kinds of feelings, we can acknowledge the emotions, let them be, and let them flow. And if they flow, they will transform into something else, dissipate. Emotions are not permanent, especially if we practice releasing them and letting them flow. And this is also practice when we acknowledge and go through difficult times in our lives. We go through this kind of practice and acknowledge what we may be experiencing. And when we open ourselves our emotions, we may be hit by something so powerful that we may want to crumble, crumple. But this practice allows us to sustain ourselves with our the structure of our own skeleton, our bodies, and the will of a clear mind, so that we can take care of ourselves every single day. And that's what this practice is that I'm sharing with you. This is a practice as an actor that I have cultivated. And this capacity to hold ourselves up with this structure, this vessel, which is our body, allows us to truly be warriors, peaceful warriors, or all kinds of warriors that may need to be called on. You may be going out to a protest this evening. You may be organizing. And I know when we're working as activists, we may be up at 4 or 5 in the morning, or we may be going to sleep at 2 to 3 in the morning. We may be going through all kinds of experiences. At home, receiving this information, working with our families, we're experiencing all kinds of stresses. This is a practice that allows us to recenter and find the structure that allows us to be warriors in our daily lives. Well, I want to thank you all for being a part of this. I do want to invite you to close out the session by sharing your bhava, which is how you feel at this moment, which may be different than how you felt at the beginning of the class. So I feel at peace. I still feel a sense of concern, unresolved issues in some areas of my life. But I do feel healthy. I feel that this practice has helped me feel healthy, and that I can move forward in my day. So I'd love to hear from anyone out there that may have any comments. Okay. So if people would like to, again, thank you, Valley, you said beautiful. Thank you, David. And Deborah, I see your comment from 17 minutes ago. Technology issues too, sad and tired and depressed. Hopefully this practice has helped. Sometimes it actually allows us to fall deeper into our feelings, which I think for the moment, we always want to be kind of upright and active and spry. Sometimes even just sitting with that feeling is good. And letting that be, because we know that we want to feel better, want to do better. So and our own natural and our own intelligent minds will begin to carry us to those activities that will help us, feel better. But it is a time for us to take care of ourselves. So as good human beings, we can take care of others. So I do want to thank everyone who has been a part of this. We're going to go ahead and wrap up. Again, I would love to hear from anyone. If anyone has any more comments or would like to share their bava at the end of this class. Otherwise, we're going to continue on Thursday with this course. And I want to thank you all for being brave today. I came to this with unfiltered emotions to a degree. And I wanted to be able to provide a space where people could feel the way they are. We are going to move through this and these feelings and these experiences. And so each day it requires us to be vigilant. I do want to say that my hearts go out to the families and the people that are suffering right now. And that I am with all of the people that are fighting to transform the systems that we are living in that are creating so much grief and distress on our country. So I say this from a place of honesty and sincerity, that my heart goes out to everyone here that is listening, and that I am with you in this struggle for transformation and change. Justice matters. I want to thank you all for joining us. Have a great day.